We should carpe diem like there's no tomorrow. There's a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, which, to paraphrase, effectively says we should be daring to the point of living our lives in sheer terror. Now, I'm not about to say set your hair on fire, run with sharp scissors, and hope for the best, but definitely get off that couch and at least once in your life have the stones to say to someone, hold my beer, watch this. I'm a master procrastinator. Instead of doing much needed honey-do list work around the house or furthering my business interests, here I am giving a presentation in part about the Bemidji Jaycees annual Brrrmidji Plunge, an event in which we annually coerce 100 or so kind souls into jumping into frozen Lake Bemidji on a cold winter's day. Yes, I would do most anything to avoid work, including taking the plunge myself, in small part to avoid the cleanup afterwards. In thinking about why people would voluntarily do something so positively mind-numbing, it occurred to me that this is just one small instance where we can either get on that boat with Chris Columbus, face possible death, and ultimately discover the new world, or we can stand safely on shore. Songs, poems, movies, and other stuff with words are written about the people who've stopped to smell the roses, cast off from shore and had crazy nights in Vegas, but not about getting to work on time, staying safely on shore, or watching TV. Take Jack Kennedy. He looked at the moon and challenged us as red-blooded, hairy-chested Americans to go play golf up there, if for no other good reason than to stick it to those dirty commies. History has all but forgotten those gutless presidents before him who said, too scary to visit. I mean, seriously, what did Tommy Jefferson do for this country? Well, okay, he did write the first draft of the Declaration of Independence while drinking beer in a tavern, but that was just the 1700s way of writing an email on which you didn't mean to hit send. In the same daring manner, the Bemidji Jaycees looked at an ice-covered Minnesota lake many years ago and said, we're going to raise money by getting people to jump in that. As I should have alluded to earlier, I'm much too lazy to go digging for a lot of forgettable facts and figures to bury you with, but I do know that over the past 11 years, the Bemidji Jaycees have donated roughly $50,000 to local charities, such as the Bemidji Area Food Shelf, the Bemidji Community Soup Kitchen, the Special Olympics, and Habitat for Humanity, just to name a few. And when you sponsor a plunger, you get the triple satisfaction of seeing your friend, colleague, or family member take a very cold bath, make a hasty exit from the water while possibly speaking in strange tongues, and contributing directly to those needy charities. I almost don't like to tell people that I'm participating in the plunge because they so routinely want to tell you how crazy you are. These same people are very often on a daily cocktail of prescription drugs, each with a long list of horrifying side effects, each one worse than the next. You tell me which is more crazy, taking a 10-second dip in 19-degree water or popping prescription pills, which, as a happy coincidence, may cause you projectile vomiting, spontaneous combustion, poor test scores, and ill-fitting shoes. If you're going to pop heart pills after all, you may as well give that sucker a reason for beating. Take my dad, for example. He's careful to the extreme. Like when I was being recruited by the armed services out of high school, and obviously not for my physical prowess or athletic abilities, he put that Norwegian Lutheran conservative nature to its very best when, in asking two Marines to get the crap out of our house, he said, besides, why would anybody jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Actually, that was the only part of their pitch that sounded like fun to me. I was thinking more along the lines that basic training sounded like way too much work to reward myself with some less than recreational parachuting. Living life on the edge is certainly not all glitter and rainbows and unicorn farts. As a dude, when your dangling participles hit those icy waters, they take protective survival measures and make a very painful entry inside to warm up, if you know what I'm saying. It's not quite to the level of pain as getting kicked there, but it's a sensation you'll not likely soon forget. Anyone can take the plunge. We've had kids as young as 6 and adults in their 80s, cancer survivors and veterans, husbands, wives, boyfriends, and girlfriends. And by the way, when couples jump together, chivalry is proven dead. It is every man and woman for themselves. I've seen men elbow their wives as they hit the cold waters and make a mad dash for the single set of stairs out the water. I'm not going to get religious on you either, but you know what? It's life affirming to take the plunge. Even if you've just been elbowed by your love, you will come out the other side with a new appreciation on life. If you're like me, and I know I am, you've realized that horror author Stephen King has set all of his best works in frozen landscapes. Never once has one of his main characters gone axe-swinging nuts while sitting on a sunny tropical beach and sipping a Mai Tai. Being a serial murderer is probably a hard racket to plausibly pull off when you're wearing board shorts and flip-flops all year round. Minnesota's winters are long, cold, and maddening. Me, I take my chilly midwinter dip to stave off that cabin fever and let Mama Nature know who's in charge. I've jumped 3 times now, and as you can plainly see, I'm living the rock and roll lifestyle. But instead of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I've got marriage, prescriptions, and music played at a sensible volume from 6 to 8 p.m. How many more slides do we have? Any questions? A what? I'm done.